I'll do the precursor again. Icosa, Hedron, Communis, some things
I was
that are big.
listening. You're good.
No, I know. I was kind of
Okay.
just resetting for when I clip this up later and try to make it look nice and everything like that.
Gotcha.
So this was to
Sorry.
me in the editing room.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Icosa, Hedron, and Communis, all big hedges on this ecosystem right now. So here's what's really interesting about Icosa and Hedron. So they both, we just mentioned it a few minutes ago, but they've been pumping big time. Icosa was already pumping before the rest of this ecosystem kind of took off. So here's what's actually happening right now. And I made a video on this last week to kind of bring more clarity and just put it in video form. But Alex McWhirter, the founder of both those tokens, did put out back in August what he's working on right now. And he thinks that, cross-chain operability with these, now that we do have HEX on Ethereum, since these are both tied to HEX and Icosa, specifically to the T-Share. So if you don't understand Icosa, it basically, as the value of the T-Share goes up over time, the value of Icosa would go up. So buying Icosa, holding, staking Icosa is a hedge on the value of the T-Share, or will go up as the value of the T-Share does. So what Alex is really trying to do is combine Icosa and Hedron into Icosa Hedron as one token, in which what you would do is there. It sounded like there will be a 30-day window once this is complete. Now, as far as I know, and it sounded like this was the case when he was on the stream the other day, there hasn't been a test net or anything like that yet. He hasn't even had it out for testing. He speculated he'd be doing that in Q4 of 2023. Don't believe that happened. But he's there. He's working on it. He was just on stream the other day. And it sounds like there's going to be about a 30-day period where, if you so choose, you don't have to do this, but you could basically send in your current tokens that you do have of individual Icosa and Hedron to receive this new combo token, which would be tied together. And I believe be able to work on both chains. Again, Alex is much smarter than me, so some of it's going over my head. But I know it's interoperability between the two chains is a big thing. He also is working on the ability, and you just talked to me about this the other day, Ewok, is how cool it would be to be able to stake EHEX on a Pulse chain. Now, you can already buy EHEX on Pulse chain if you wish to not have the extra gas fees or deal with fake DeFi Uniswap or something like that on Ethereum. You can buy it on Pulse chain and avoid the fees if you're one of those people that believes there's value in EHEX, of which we do. Yeah, so he is building that stuff, and I think it's going to be huge upgrades. I don't think it's going away. I think they're probably the best thing that's been built on top of HEX so far. But yeah, I'm super bullish on it. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, I threw a huge flyer. Well, not huge, but I threw a nice flyer on Icosa on Pulse Chain at 3 cents the other day, and happy to be up over 3x already. So very nice indeed. So what do you first off make about what Alex is doing there, and where could you maybe fill in some blanks that I missed? And how are you feeling about them long term? And then we'll kind of get into the Communis stuff.
Yeah, well, both Hedron and Communis really revolve around the T-Share.
Icosa, you meant. You said Communis. You meant Hedron and Icosa.
Both.
Oh, no, you were right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
They both really revolve around the value of the T-Share. And they've really captured the value, in a way that no one else really did. So I think that's why they kind of got a hold of the community like they did and took off, because it's a really cool idea. The even better thing is, when did you watch Dipcatcher and Alex? You say you did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they were discussing, and I don't know if you know this or not, but Maximus is also a tokenized version of a long 15-year a Quattro Cinco stake. Right. Those, or once it's done, will also be able to mint the Hedron. So when that one was locked in, I think it was locked in at a 6x, maybe a 7x bonus. I forget what it was at that time, but either way, back in the early days of Hedron, you could claim a bonus if you locked them in and claimed it at that time. And so Alex is even considering how we're going to do this interoperability with the new token, all the Hedron that Maximus stake is going to earn, in a way to kind of let them into the system at that point too. So I think he was kind of rethinking that whole 30-day thing, where there won't be just a necessary 30-day window. Those stakes will, that stake, and the Deci and the other ones too that are out far, will be able to earn those as well. So that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. I just, yeah, those guys are such big brain individuals, and I appreciate all they do to build it and the time that it takes, um, and the testing and everything like that to give us another real DeFi product. It's just,
Mhm.
it's very cool.
Mhm.
I like them both. I like all of them, and then what I really wish for is some sort of dashboard or something that would kind of walk people through your end stake and say, hey, mint your communis. Hey, mint your hedron. Hey, now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can end your stake, and kind of do it as a boom, one click. I think that would be pretty awesome if you could combine it. Now I know, what was that platform that they were gonna launch, and it might have already launched, and nobody talks about it anymore. It's the one that had the 5 different tokens you could trade for one.
Is that Tetra?
Tetra, yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
So
funny how these things, yeah, I know you forget about them so quickly, but
we
yeah.
forget about it, but it's one of those things where I think that was one of the things that they were working on, was a way to do multiple kind of
Yeah,
transactions in
you can
order,
swap
right?
5 tokens at once, basically,
Well,
yeah.
but no, but I mean, to do something very similar to what I said is
Mhm,
mint your communis, then mint your hedron, then end your hex stake, um, all with kind of their platform. So
mhm.
that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, because I still see, more people, once they learn the value of the T-share. I still don't think people get it. I don't
I
think
agree.
they understand how rare these are going to be.
Mhm.
And every time I see, a 5555 stake on Twitter, on the whale thing that broadcasts them every once in a while, I see how few T-shares they're getting now, and what they were originally, and what that same amount would have gotten early. And it's like, man, the value of these things, I just, we're so undervalued right now because of the value of the T-share, that people just don't get it. And I
Yeah,
hope once they get it, they get it. But I hope they don't keep waiting, because it's going to be hard for people to get T-shares pretty soon. You're
yeah,
going to need a lot of hex to get a T-share. So I
yeah.
don't know. I wish people would catch on to it and see the value in it. But
I do too, and yeah, it's one of those things I've thought of where, like, kind of the dilution of this ecosystem as far as some of where the funds have gone from the investors that were already in it, where, just the natural evolution. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, like, first there's Hex, but then you have a new chain. People want to buy the chain. People want to buy the Dex token, which understandably so. I think Pulse X is probably better tech, and with the fee switch and everything turned on, the best opportunity to buy a Dex that's in crypto.
yeah,
But with all that stuff, we are seeing less of, like, oh, let's talk about what a Hex T-share is. Like, here's how you make your Hex staking ladder. I remember that stuff from the last bull market and even into the bear market and stuff.
yeah,
With Hex streamers, because it's like, well, there's not really much else to talk about other than, like, speculating about when will Pulse Chain come out or something like that. So yeah, I do think as this market rages on and maybe things calm down a little bit also, getting into and also Richard Hart getting vindicated for these products and everything as well. I think looking at the long-term mechanism of the T-share and getting back to Hex staking basics and how that stuff works, it's going to be a valuable thing. And I know you've said to me personally that, like, you regardless of any ups and downs of Hex price or anything like that, any amount of staking that you've ever done, you have no regrets about, because you just believe in it so much. It's, obviously it's a smart contract that can't really be messed with or anything, and the T-share just gets better and better and better. So